UCM Battleship Sprue. When it comes to the UCM Battleship, the body is fairly standardized here. And as far as magnetizing things, all of the little the lasers on the top, have little pegs which should be easy enough to convert to magnets. And it's just a matter of whether or not they're on there for the different weapon options. What is it? I think there's only, looking through the instructions, the only time they're not there is when the laser refit is upgraded. So I might not even magnetize those. I might just glue these down and not have the laser refit. Every one of them has those 4 weapons on there, so it might be one of those times when I don't even bother and I just glue them down. So I think that might be a good idea. Laser refit is a cool thing, but to have to use magnets, it's not as great. However, the underslung weaponry, this goes in, where is it? I'm looking at the instructions here. These go on the bottom of this. And that's pretty cool. I don't know if any of the options don't have it. Well, there is an option to put drop weapons on here that are on the core ship sprue. So that is something to be taken into account. That's how you build the Tokyo or the Byzantium. So I guess I need to magnetize that particular point if I want to have those options. And the good news is it's just a peg, and that should be easy enough to just make a magnet. So I'll probably do that magnetization just so I have all options for the battleships. And they go on this particular weapon option, and this slots in, and I can easily put a magnet in here so that it just snaps in. And the other 2 weapon options will also just clip in, and I can just magnetize right on that, and all 3 of these will fit fine. Then we have the top, and that can either be this panel, which I could probably put a magnet inside to let it sit. It's not too hard to just have it sit there. It shouldn't move too much. But it does also have the option to use this instead, which again, it just sits on there. I don't know if I actually need a magnet or not. This is an easy enough thing to swap. And there is a second option where this goes on top. And that might be a little bit harder, but I might be able to put a magnet in here and then drill out a spot for that to hold in just enough. Because there are a few options where it has this front piece, but I don't want to ruin how this looks. So if I put a powerful enough magnet in here, I should be able to have it just clip in. So I'll try that. So the UCM Battleship is actually quite easy to magnetize and have all of the options. The only thing that really isn't easy is choosing between the lasers and the laser refit. I just glued the lasers down because magnetizing 4 extra items to represent something is a little bit rough, and it's easy enough to slot the engine refit in. I could have just glued it in to begin with and just had it there, but it is magnetized. It's also quite tight just from priming, but it does have a magnet to hold it in. This top plate is fairly secure as it is, so I just have it where you can push it down and it'll hold. Just don't pick it up from that and it's probably fine. This also push fits simply enough, but there is an option to put this on instead of a torpedo to have launch, and that is magnetized. I used as many magnets as necessary for that, but it just sits there. It's not something I can hold it by, but it holds its place. You know, you can shake it and everything, and it's fine. So that gives me those options. And then this is a nice simple magnet option. While it was still open, I put magnets in there at the place where that'll just click in. And I used a small enough magnet that fits through that hole, and it just clicks in. And all 3 do that. And then this has options for bombardment or more turrets. So they're all magnetized. And then the big gun. So all of the options for all of the battleships, aside from the laser refit, pretty simple. And I could see doing that with another one when I eventually get it. I mean, that's simple enough, and these are simple enough. So, yeah. Magnetizing the UCM Battleship is actually quite easy, aside from this one. But even that, I figured out how to have it there. So, yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. Subscribe if you haven't, so that you don't miss any future videos. I also want to thank my patrons and supporters for making these videos possible. And until next time, I hope you find your bit of bliss.